Good morning, my dear kids. How are you all? I hope you all are doing great at home. My dear kids, let's start our English work. In English, we will do our next letter, that is letter D. Letter D. Letter D says D. Letter D says D. It means sound of letter D is D. Sound of letter D is D. D says D, dots. D says D, duck. D says D, dots. D says D, duck. Now let's see how to write letter D. This is very simple. You all have to make one straight standing line from up to down, then make one curve. Letter D. See once again, standing line and one curve. Standing line and one curve. See once again, letter D. Letter D. Letter D. And D says D. D says D. Now it's your turn. You all have to practice letter D. But before that, let's see some more vocabulary of letter D. Letter D. And D says D. D says D. D says D, dog. D says D, drum. D says D, duck. D says D, dolphin. D says D, deer. D says D, dots. D says D, doll. Now it's your turn. Let's practice letter D.